Hey, true believers. So I thought I was done with reviews today. However, I'm sitting here at lunch, and I started reading through Detective Comics number 1014, and this is the first appearance of Ms. Freeze. Now, if everybody's been kind of keeping up with Tomasi's Detective Comics, which has been really good. I mean, some plot points can be kind of hit or miss, but overall this has been a really good run for Detective Comics. And in the last issue, you find out not the last issue, but through the Mr. Freeze arc, he has been capturing women that kind of have the same physiology as his wife, Nora, because he's trying to implement the cure that Lex Luthor had given him to revive Nora and cure of her cancer. But when he tried to initially use it, test it, it was proved fatal. So he needed fresh bodies with kind of the same DNA mixture as her to see if he could finally get it to work. And with that said, at the end of the last issue, Batman's able to chase off Mr. Freeze, save the women, but they're in a frozen state, so he brings them back to the cave to try to resuscitate them. And you see Nora wake up on the pages of the last issue. So here, she's waking up and she goes, "But I begged you not to do it, Victor. I pleaded with you that I wanted to fight the cancer on my own terms. I didn't want to be frozen." You can kind of see there's like a countdown of absolute zero here. "I had no choice, Nora. I had a chance to save you, and I took it. A chance. You weren't sure it would work?" "No, I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a gamble that you made with the remaining year or two I had of my life." And you start to see a tear drip from her eye. And he tells her, "You wanted to do battle against a foe that couldn't be defeated. You were braver than I was, darling. I was not prepared to lose the love of my life, while you were prepared to risk it all." And so you see that Nora's in a containment suit at this point, kind of like how Mr. Freeze used to be once upon a time. Now, with that said, you see the two finally reunited after years and years of Mr. Freeze's plight of trying to revive her. And in this story, it's called Cold, Dark World, Awake. And it's Peter Tomasi doing the story in words, Doug Mahnke doing the penciling, Christian Alamy, Mark Irwin, and Doug Mahnke on the inks. Dave Barron is your colorist. Rob Lay is the letterer. Here's everyone else associated with the book. And Batman was created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. And so she starts to kind of panic a little bit. She's like, "Why'd you put this helmet on me?" And he goes, It's a necessary evil." And he's like, "Nora, look at me. Do you think I would let any harm come to you?" He's like, "You got to wear this helmet until this room reaches absolute zero. Calm down. You're hyperventilating." He says, "Your brain and your body are dangerous until the temperature hits absolutely zero. That is why you're wearing this suit. It's keeping your body cold." And she starts fighting him, saying, "I got to take it off. I got to feel the wind on my face." And he's like, "It's just a few more minutes." And so, like I said, the countdown just kind of starts to proceed. And finally, at the last minute, she pulls it off, and she's just like, "Ah." But she says, "I'm cold. I feel like I'm dead, Victor. Cold and dead." And he tries to say that, you're quite alive. And he tries to say, he's like, "I'm here to catch you if you fall." And so he tells her about how he altered his physiology with a compound of his. That's how he's able to walk around in any climate now. And, unlike the old ones where he used to be defeated by having his helmet smashed. He goes, "I've been so lonely without you." If only you knew how long I dreamed of holding you tight, touching you, kissing you. But she pulls away. She goes, this is all happening too fast, Victor. I've been frozen in time. My life. The life I've built has passed me by. With everything I've been through, I think I need to. And he looks at her deadpan and he goes, everything you've been through? Because he says, even though you've been in a frozen state, we kind of get a rundown of what happened, where they had this happy life where, she was a ballet dancer, they were married. He goes, passions and dreams realized. Until a malignant darkness pushed in at the edges and threatened to shut out all the light in our lives. He goes, he's trying to find his way of resurrecting her. He goes, I'd firmly dedicated myself to traveling down a road as Mr. Freeze, the scourge of Gotham. So, my love, you remained young. I've gotten older. And each of us has been through our own hell. And skip past the ad. Now we're back in the Batcave with the women who Victor had frozen. And I love how Batman essentially says in the last issue that even though the women are frozen, they can still kind of sense certain things. So he doesn't want to compromise their identities. So he tells Alfred to put on a mask. And he comes in wearing a Halloween Flash mask, which is absolutely hilarious. And he's asking Bruce, he says, they're frozen. Can I just take this thing off? It's rugged and I'm having a hard time breathing. And Batman re-stresses, we don't want them to any chance of our identities. He's like, I knew I should have put on one of your old cowls. It's just poor Alfred, but you know what it is. So Bruce is running tests now, and he's coming to find out he cannot figure out this extra compound that are in the women's blood from what Victor had done. And so he actually acquiesces and says, I got to take this to Wayne Tech because Fox has equipment there that puts some of this here in the Batcave to shame. So him and Lucius are at this Wayne Tech cryonics lab, and they're looking at it, and he goes, there, see? Your screen has pulled up 3 specific unknown factors in the women's blood that I wasn't able to nail down. And by the looks of them, they're synthetic. Man-made. Someone's trying to play God. And Lucius basically says, and God help us if he's successful. And so before anything else can be done, Freeze and Nora break in. And what happens here is Victor says, he freezes Lucius and Bruce, and he says, I'm only here because I want more of the compound that gave me my mobility. And then we're going to be off. And so Nora and Mr. Wayne have a moment. She's always saying, I always knew about your, your compassion. She says, you donated a lot of money to the ballet that I was part of. Right here she goes, in fact, all I remember about you is kindness and the generous donations to the ballet company I danced for. And so anyway, Victor takes the compound that he needs and they leave. More ads. And at this point, it says later in Gotham, the dream is over. Reality has rightfully taken it. It is all gone according to plan. No more boots, no more isolated gloves, no more containment suit, and no more helmet. Just my angel, free to soar, in her new skin, in our new lives. And after she does her little dance, he goes, after you change, we will greet the world. And look at this. This is very harrowing. I do not have enough coffee to say the word that I'm trying to say. You guys can make fun of me in the comments for it. But you're taken aback. You're just like, my goodness, he froze an entire auditorium just so Nora could dance. And here's the horrible thing, is I remember when I was a kid, because Mr. Freeze's origin wasn't solidified in the comics originally. He was just kind of, a throwaway villain. It wasn't until Paul Dini and Bruce's Timm's, what was it, Heart of Ice, I think that was the name of the episode, where they introduced Mr. Freeze and they talk about Nora being frozen. That's when Mr. Freeze's backstory was solidified and it bled over into the comic books. And I always thought that Nora was like this innocent victim. But the one thing here is you see that she's okay with this. And then right here he says, after you change, we will greet the world as Mr. and Mrs. Freeze. So you come to find out all these years that you think that Nora's this innocent victim waiting to be revived. And she just kind of rolls with it. You would kind of think that she would have gone the route of Meatloaf and said, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Yeah, don't make fun of the age. Still a good song. But this was Detective Comics 1014, guys. And I wasn't expecting it to be an interesting read. Again, there are some plot holes when you actually sit down and read it panel for panel, page for page. But overall, that aside, Tomasi, as per usual, really knows how to hit you in the emotions, just like he did on his Superman run. And he does it again here in Detective Comics. So if you guys are a huge Batman fan like I am, this is definitely one that you want in your collection. A, Peter J. Tomasi writing. B, it's a great Detective Comics series featuring Mr. Freeze. And C, it's because this is the first appearance of Nora Freeze as Ms. Freeze. And I can't wait. I'm actually going to sit down and read issue 1015 after this. But I read this one and I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. And I'd love to hear your feedback on this comic book. We'd love to hear it either down in the comments below or on our social media sites. You can check out all the links down in the descriptions below as well. If you guys don't want to chat down in the comments, you can check out those social media links. And also, if you guys have enjoyed this comic, this review, or both, then please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little freeze bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the page and check it out so that we can have a dialogue with everyone. Also, if you enjoyed, reading and you want to get your friends excited about comic books or just for the sake of reading in general, make sure to share this video with them and let them know what they think, because at the end of the day, that's what the club is about, is just the appreciation of reading. So with all that said, guys, wanted to do a little lunchtime video. We will pick up with Marvel Presents Weapon X number 73 tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, here's some Batman for your lunchtime viewing entertainment. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll check y'all in the next video.